Death is weird. Death make people react hella crazy. I mean, you got both sides of the spectrum. You got people who be like, ah, no, take me with you. Be trying to jump in the ground and shit. And then you got people who are so like stoic. Yeah, I'm okay. I got it. I can handle it. And then, you got all them different levels in between. And, you got reasons why people react the way they do. Some motherfuckers just have automatically had to assume a role of strength. So that means they are the one everybody else needs to lean on. And even when people don't think that that's what they need, they look to that individual or individuals to lean on for strength during times where death is occurring or approaching someone close. And yeah, we know it's part of the cycle of life, but it doesn't make it any easier when you lose somebody you give a fuck about. That's neither here nor there. And there is no wrong way to respond. Some people you'll never see a teardrop. I've got friends who have lost their parents, and that parent was a significant parent to them in their life, and I can't remember a teardrop, but I know it impacted this individual. I know they feel it and still feel it, and it's been years. Shoot, I can even attest for myself. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it 1,000. I didn't cry about losing my grandmother until probably almost 2 years after it happened. And I guess it just took time to marinate. And partially because I was grateful to have the opportunity to sit and kind of watch her process into her ascension for like 30 days before she actually passed away. So we spent 30 days just going to the hospital, sitting, watching, wondering, was there going to be a change, any significant change? And, she was breathing, but she was on a ventilator, and she was suffering a lot of strokes and was in a coma for some time. But there were these moments where she even laughed because she could hear us talking in the background. And, I've just learned one of the ways I deal is I treat that person or the situation like it's normal, like any other conversation, like something we got to face, we got to deal with, regardless of what it is. So I was still talking shit sitting there because that's what my grandmother knows of me. Motherfuckers coming near doing little stuff. I'm like, she don't like that. I was like, okay. I said, she would sit up and cut you out if she can. And she even laughed one of them times. Like, so I know she was listening. She was still there in some sense. So that made me feel a little better. But I knew she had already decided, I'm done with this. Because she's not the type of person who would have wanted to be having to rely on someone to take care of her, especially physically. That was another one. My grandmother moved better than me before she ended up in the situation she was in. So I knew she wasn't going to have that shit. So I understand, different people's reactions. What I don't get is just like, I don't know, the disregard for valuing your life every day, especially when it comes to people that you give a fuck about. And don't get me wrong, family, friends, folks, motherfuckers will get on your nerves. Let me say that again. For the motherfuckers in the cheap seats. People will get on your nerves and drive you crazy. Make you so angry, like, why you can't just do and be right? But what I think is doing and being right is the total opposite of what that person may think or do is right. So at some point, you just have to kind of accept people for who they are. And that doesn't mean excusing bad behaviors or treating you, fucked up just because they feel they can and can get away with it because you got love for them. But it does help me put in perspective that for the most part, now there are a couple of motherfuckers we could do without on this planet. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm not talking about those people right now. It makes me feel like I'd rather them be here than not, because that finalization of life, that's it. You can't make amends. You can't fix it. You can't say, you know what, I'm going to do and be better. Let me correct this. Once it's done, it's done. The game of life, me and Big Bro was talking about this the other day. When it comes to this life game, one thing, it's a few things you ain't never got to worry about. You will never have to worry about not getting picked to play, somebody taking your spot in line, or never getting a chance to get on the field. You will always get a chance to play. No one can cut you in line. Okay? We all have a date stamp. We don't know when it is. Mine could be tomorrow. Next week. Next month. I don't really care. It's not for me to worry and piddle about, but I'm not going to act like I don't know how possible that is and not appreciate the time that I have. Maybe that's just something some of us learn based on certain shit that happens or certain things we've seen. Because I really feel like a lot of motherfuckers just have no regard for life, their own or any others. And it feels like a front. I've witnessed even the hardest motherfucker, and I don't care who you are. It's somebody in your life that would cut you deep to your core if they were no longer here. I think let's start from that place and branch out small and understand everybody got that somebody. So those split decisions we make to decide I'm not fucking with you or your life don't mean as much as mine, fuck you, and you know whatever steps come next, that's a huge decision. And every decision we make catches up with us. We pay for it. Directly, indirectly. But in the end, that final get back, we all pay for it. You ain't got to worry about that bill getting lost in the mail. It's coming due. Always does. Always does. I say all of that to say, yes, death is inevitable.